Okay, well, I'm letting the metal etch finish doing its work. I'm going to show you what you need to apply the POR 15 coating itself, okay? Now I keep saran wrap between the canister top and the canister body because once it's opened, you do not want it to dry and harden. I'll show you once I open this up when we're ready to do it, but it actually did harden because it's been sitting all summer and there was probably a little leak somewhere and it created a thick shell because the POR 15 hardens into a resin. That's what makes it so good for rust proofing. And what I had to do was take a screwdriver, a flathead, and chisel away, and luckily the liquid POR 15 was still underneath that shell, so I can still get to it for this job. Now once I have this open and we're ready to apply it, you're going to want a spoon like this to mix it up with, and a paintbrush to apply it with. You know, just a simple house painting brush will work. You know, this is a nice width to it, so I can get a lot of area covered. And you can see here from previous projects I've done with the POR 15, it does harden to a resin. Obviously that's a much thicker coating than what we're putting on the Jeep, but that shows you the kind of resin that it hardens to, which you then paint over, and that's what makes it so great for stopping rust in its tracks and preventing future rust. So that's the setup. I'm about to rinse off the metal etching, and then we're going to go ahead and mix this up and start to apply the POR 15 itself. Okay, you can see the metal etch has had a chance to do its work. We gave it the allotted time. Now we're going to spray it off. Again, just a light hosing. You want to get it all off though. You can see the chemicals dripping down. So you just want to spray it until you notice the water droplets look pretty clear and don't have any chemical in it. Because the metal etch has actually etched the metal, and you don't want to leave any of the actual chemical on. The etch has already been done. So I'm going to finish hosing this down, dry it again with a shop rag, and then we're going to mix up the POR 15 to apply the actual coat of POR 15. Okay, so this is the POR 15, and as you can see, it did form that thick top coat. It hardened because there was an air leak in this can, but that's okay. You can see there's a hole there, and it's basically sealed all the good POR 15 underneath, so I could just pour it right out of that hole, mix it up using my spoon, and then I'm going to take the paintbrush and apply it to the rusted parts of the Jeep that we want to coat with the POR 15. So now we're going to go under the Jeep and we're going to start coating the skid plate. Okay, so I'm applying the POR 15 now. You want to do thin coats, but still pretty liberal. And as you can see, it's like a resin. I've done some up here, like a lacquer. And you want to do 2 coats for this kind of application. You want to do the second coat right after the first coat has become tacky to the feel of the hand, to the feel of your hand. And that's it's about 3 hours for this coat to dry, so it'll probably be tacky in about an hour and we can apply the second coat. Then once the second coat is dried, in an additional 3 hours, we'll be able to go ahead and apply a coat of Rust-Oleum paint. So I'm going to finish doing this, let it dry. Then I will apply the second coat, which I won't be getting on camera because you already see how this is done. So next time we come back, we will be applying the top coat of Rust-Oleum paint over the resin, the POR 15 hardened resin. Okay guys, you can see now the POR 15 has dried 2 coats. It is like a hard lacquer finish. And now we're going to top coat it with some Rust-Oleum. So I'm going to spray it and probably do 2 coats of that, and then when it's all dry we'll come back and just take a look at it all painted. Okay guys, so I have coated it with a couple coats of Rust-Oleum flat black now, and it's all good to go. You can see it's sealed up pretty nice. You can still see that Por 15 resin a little bit through the paint, probably not on camera, but a little bit. And this has basically created a hard resin coating now that is pretty much rust proof on the parts I've applied it to. So it turned out real nice. No more rust. We're not going to see any more rust for a long time with this Por 15 on here. So that is how you rust proof your bug out vehicle using Por 15.